Hello and welcome to part one of the ticket flipping roadmap. 8 criteria to profitable tickets. So in this section, we're going to take a closer look at what makes a ticket profitable and how you should go about selecting the best tickets so that you know you can resell it for a strong margin. With that in mind, let's go ahead and dive right in. So when is the event going to take place? The day of the week rule is really, really important. It's important to consider, when are people free? Are people working? So obviously, one of the best things to look at is it a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday? Those three are obviously the best days. Of course, if there's a holiday or if there's some sort of day off of work, especially considering corporate jobs, it's going to be a lot more favorable. So if people have Monday off, then the Sunday night shows are going to perform better. So keeping that in mind, the day of the week rule is really important. You really want to avoid buying tickets, during the week because it's just, off the bat, not going to do quite as well as a weekend night show. How many tickets are available? So the venue capacity is a really important element to keep in mind. Does the artist have the ability to sell that amount of tickets? So let's see, how many tickets does this artist sell usually? Does he perform in this size venues before? Is he performing in a arena where he normally performs in a nightclub? Is this artist trying to sell bigger capacity venues or clubs as opposed to where he performed in the past, or vice versa? Is this artist used to performing in larger venues, let's say over 10,000 capacity, and he's now performing in a 5,000 or 3,000 capacity venue, which would be kind of an indicator like, hey, this event is actually going to perform very well. So venue capacity is the second criteria to look at. Third is, where is the venue? So what is the venue's general population? Is this a wealthy city? Is this a heavily Latino city? Is this a city that has a lot of fans that are rap fans, maybe sort of like Atlanta, Chicago? So keeping those criteria in mind as to, what is the general audience? Is it an affluent audience? Are they going to be going to, some sort of, opera or, where is this going to happen? And are there enough fans to support that the general artist that is going to perform? So some clubs and venues tend to always sell out due to their popularity and others don't. There's certain locations in New York or Boston or Washington where House of Blues or the 3 a.m. Club, those tend to always sell out because those venues are always booked up and there's a lot of fans for just live events around that area. So where is this event taking place is another important criteria. Number 4 is the event ranking, so the Flair score. This comes from one of the tools that we offer at Ticketflipping. It is our event dashboard. It gives an artificial intelligence and AI score to every single event going on in the US. Currently, there's about 30,000 events, and each one has a unique score. We get the score by looking at the amount of active fans on Spotify, on YouTube, on Google search, and then looking at how many fans there are in that city. And then we compare it with how many tickets are available. So if there's a whole lot of fans and not that many tickets available, then it's going to have a higher score. If there's not really that many fans and a lot of tickets available, it's going to have a lower score. So the event score is a really, really important aspect when it comes to selecting profitable events because it's going to do a lot of the hard work for you and find out, hey, what has a high score, what has a high popularity, so you know to go after the event or maybe to avoid that event. So next is where specifically, but not in the city or the venue, but where are you actually buying the seats? So what is the seat value? Let's say these front row E tickets right here or B tickets are close to the stage and they're, $200, $300, but these tickets right here, front row for the E section are maybe going for, $150. So front row for E is just quite as good as the B section almost in terms of like the fan experience, but you're able to get it for a cheaper price, and then obviously you can have a greater potential margin. So price breaks are something that we cover significantly in our course in more detail, but what that means is, hey, is a section back, it's almost just as good as the front section, but if the seat pricing is better, then you have a higher potential or more chance to make more money on the resale as opposed to buying those super expensive front row seats. Again, price breaks, making sure you're getting the best deals. So for sports, does someone have to have cheaper season tickets or better, cheaper tickets beforehand? You don't want to compete with people who have better deals. So if you're not buying on the pre-sale, you're buying maybe during the on sale, you're not getting the absolute best price. You really don't want to compete with people who are, have better deals than you. If somebody bought tickets for $40, they're okay to sell it for 50. But if you bought them for 50, obviously you want to make a profit, so it's going to be harder for you to compete. So first of all, make sure to always buy on pre-sale. Make sure to be getting the absolute best deals there are on tickets when it comes to season tickets or getting tickets as soon as possible. You don't want to have more expensive seats and then try to resell them against people who got a better deal than you. So price breaks are very important. Secondly is, are fans buying the tickets? So what you can do is look at the secondary market. So this means, the tickets have already been bought from the primary market, Ticketmaster, Live Nation. Now you're selling them on StubHub or, another marketplace. How many similar tickets are being sold and how much are fans actually paying for those tickets? So essentially, what are other brokers making? How much money are other resellers making? And by looking at the secondary market, which we can do with our Chrome extension, where you can actually view the amount of sales happening, you get an idea of what is the market actually doing and how many tickets are fans buying and what are they willing to pay for those tickets. So that's really important, is getting an idea of how the market is actually performing and what are ordinary fans willing to pay for the tickets you have. And lastly, and most importantly maybe, is can the ticket be sold? So transferability is a really important element. When and if can you resell the ticket and transfer it to the buyer? Some tickets are entirely non-transferable. You don't want to buy those tickets because even though you can list it for sale somewhere, you're never actually able to transfer the ticket to the buyer's email. So a lot of times there can be, transfer delays, which is completely fine. The tickets will only be able to transfer a couple days before the event. But you can still sell them ahead of time and then just transfer them when transferability becomes available on Ticketmaster. But if they're entirely non-transferable, you want to avoid it. So those are the 8 qualities that you really want to keep in mind of, what tickets do you want to buy and how you know whether or not it's going to sell well and make you a profit. So I hope you guys found that useful. I will see you on part 2 where we'll learn more about the tools that are available to ticket resellers.